In information security, building the walls, that's actually the easy part. The real challenge, the thing that really matters, is creating a system that isn't just secure, but is also legally defensible. And that means you need an unbreakable chain of evidence for every single action that happens. So, that brings us to the fundamental question, doesn't it? In this digital world, how do you really prove who did what? Now, you might be familiar with the classic AAA security framework, but here's something that often gets missed. It's not really a three-step process, it's five. And understanding these five pillars, well, that's the secret to building true, defensible accountability. To make these concepts stick, let's use a simple but really powerful analogy. Let's think about a high-security bank vault. We're going to follow the story from the moment someone walks in to the moment they leave, and we'll see how this whole security framework just clicks into place. So picture this journey, okay? First, you walk up and you state your name to the guard. That's your claim. Next, you have to prove it, so you show your ID and give a fingerprint. That's the proof. Then, the guard doesn't just let you in. They check a manifest to see which specific safe deposit boxes you're allowed to open. Those are your permissions. The whole time you're inside, a security camera is recording everything. That's the record. And finally, at the end of the month, the manager reviews that footage, and that is accountability. Let's keep this journey in mind as we bring it into the digital world. All right, let's start with those first two steps in our bank vault story, the claim and the proof. In the world of cybersecurity, we call these identification and authentication. They work as a team for sure, but they have two very distinct jobs. Identification is quite simply the claim. It's you telling the system, hey, I'm this person. Here's the user account I want you to look up. It could be a username, an email, an employee ID, but at this stage, it's just a statement. Nothing has been proven yet. Still, it's the starting pistol for the entire chain of accountability. So, you've made a claim. How do you prove it? That's authentication. This is where you provide the evidence. It's usually based on something you know, like a password, something you have, like a security token, or something you are, like a fingerprint. And here's the absolute critical takeaway for any security leader. Multi-factor authentication is the bedrock of a legally defensible system. Why? Because it's easy to claim a password was stolen. It is much, much harder to deny an action that was confirmed by your fingerprint and a one-time code from your phone. Okay, so the system is now confident about who you are, but that doesn't mean you get the keys to the entire kingdom. And this brings us to our third and incredibly important pillar, authorization. This is all about what you're actually allowed to do. Authorization is what sets the boundaries. Just like that list the bank guard was checking, the system has a set of rules that define exactly what you can touch and what you can't. This is the principle of least privilege in action. You only get access to what is absolutely necessary for you to do your job, and nothing more. This is how we contain potential damage, because even if a legitimate account is compromised, its reach is limited. Now we're getting to the final two pillars, and these are the ones that really deliver that rock-solid accountability we're after. They are auditing and accounting. Now, people often lump these two together, but they play two very distinct and equally vital roles in our security framework. Let's go back to our bank vault one more time. Auditing is the security camera itself. It's the automated, programmatic process that's just recording every single action into a log file. It's answering the question, what happened? But a recording is completely useless if nobody ever watches it. And that's where accounting comes in. Accounting is the bank manager who actually reviews the footage. It's the active process of analyzing those logs to ensure compliance and to hold individuals responsible. It answers the much more important question, so what? You see, when all five of these pillars are working together in harmony, you achieve something really powerful. This is the ultimate payoff for all of this work. You get indisputable proof of every action. The technical term for this is non-repudiation, and put simply, it's the assurance that a user cannot plausibly deny that they performed an action. Because we have that full chain of evidence, the initial identification, the strong multi-factor authentication, the specific authorization, and a clear audit trail, the excuse "it wasn't me" just completely falls apart. This is the mechanism that turns a security policy into something you can actually enforce. So let's just trace that chain one last time. It all starts with a claim of identity. That claim is then proven through authentication. The right permissions are enforced through authorization. Every action is then recorded by auditing, and finally, those records are actively reviewed through accounting. You see how each step is absolutely essential for the next one to work? And all of this leaves us with a critical question, one I'd like you to take back to your own organization. Take a hard look at your security program through the lens of these 5 pillars. Are you just identifying users, or are you truly authenticating them with strong factors? Are you just generating logs? Are you actually accounting for what's in them? Is every single link in this chain strong? Because if even one of them is weak, the entire chain of accountability breaks.